Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Bear with me. Hold on, give me a second. Gotta move this stuff. Just trying to finish up some dinner real quick. Alrighty, how's everybody? Let me throw the chat up here. All right, there we go. Awesome. See if I can't get this lined up. There we go. Alrighty, cool. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? How's the week starting out? For those of you guys in the US, hopefully you guys are recovering pretty well from Memorial Weekend. Nice little 4-day weekend for everybody. And yeah, we'll dive into it. So pretty much what I'm looking for this week. Hopefully you guys know that first week of the month, we are in NFP week, right? So I've definitely got my sights set on what's going to happen here. It's already kind of giving me what's going on. Do I mind sharing my Spotify playlist? I think if you're in the Discord, right? I'm almost positive. If you're in the Discord, you can see me up on the right-hand side, like when I'm there, like the Spotify, and you could just, I think that's how you could see the list, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Give me a sec. My Spotify. I don't even know how to share it. Hold on. Let's see. All right, give me a sec. I'll have to see how the heck I can share my playlist. I know I have a public profile. So like I said, I'm almost positive that in the Discord, you could just click on like what I'm listening to and it should take you right to the playlist. I'm almost positive. But yeah. Oh, what's up, man? How's Belgium? You guys is it getting chilly over there yet? I know it's summertime, but I know it's been really, really hot here in Florida. I mean, like exhaustingly hot. Makes me want to take naps in the afternoon. But anyway, going into the calendar, what I'm really going to be focused on is a couple key things. Right here they're already pricing in a 50 basis point interest rate hike. So I'm very eager to see if I'm almost positive they're going to come in. The market's been pretty accurate on all these interest rates the last couple of weeks. So we are going to see some volatility. So I would imagine we're going to see continued strength in the Canadian dollar off of that. So I'm definitely got my eyes focused on Canadian crosses and US dollar crosses this week. So immediately you should guess that ACAD, NCAD, CAD-CHEF, CAD-J, and of course UCAD are on my list. And then, just the US dollar crosses, the whole gamut, right? There are a couple of JPY crosses, obviously CAD-J, and then of course my favorite CHEF JPY are really what are on my watch list this week. So, and it's all going to stem from what's going to happen tomorrow morning during New York session. And again, what's going to happen NFP on Friday. So I don't imagine that we're going to see tomorrow afternoon or Thursday. Now we do have some OPEC meetings, which is going to move the Canadian dollar, right? We may see some volatility depending on what happens with that. But those are really the big fundamental things that I think are going to cause a little bit of manipulation. So like anything, I'm going to wait for the manipulation and then play the mitigation of it, right? Hopefully it's a little better than it was last week. Last week, I took 2 currency trades, ended up break even on them. And if it wasn't for US 30, I probably would have had just a dead week, but US 30 ended up really, really just playing out nicely. So, and we'll kind of go through here, the watch list, and kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking at, right? So everything starts and ends with the dollar, right? So what I'll be looking for, I talked about it last week and the week before. I'm really just focused on getting into this price action. So where we're at I talked about last week, I was looking at potentially a hedging down because I'm already in some quite a number of trades that I'm holding on to, right? So obviously that didn't play out well. There was no sell for me. There was nothing to do. So right now, what I'm looking for is, all right, I'm not really convinced that this accumulation is going to do anything, but if we do break the order flow out of it, maybe that gets me to start looking for some schematics to take this higher. If not, I'm still just going to be waiting for price to come down here. I haven't decided yet if it's going to be worth. It's really going to be just one of those, I guess, one of those times where I'll be watching to see if we do come up and if it does present a distribution, specifically because if I'm talking about dollar, I'm talking about EU. If EU gives me a clear accumulation, because I'll be looking for the buy on it, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to take it or not. It's really going to depend on the R, if it's worth it, because we're talking about here, not a huge area to get down into this, right? And I'm not even I don't want to call this as the bottom, so I'm going to wait. Ideally, perfect scenario for me would be that we just break, and now I'll be looking to play out of something like this to take it higher. If we don't break, again, I'll just be waiting here, right? And that'll translate pretty cleanly over to Euro USD. It's just going to be the same chart, just flipped, right? So we'll see how it ends up playing out. Again, I don't anticipate a lot of action until like Thursday going into Friday. Just something I was kind of paying attention to today. I wanted to see what we were going to do. I'm definitely, this accumulation here has really got my attention. But until we reaccumulate and take out the high, then potentially this would be my first point of interest, and obviously this would be my second coming out. We'll see how that plays out. But I'm still very much bullish dollar. There's no price action in here that's really telling me otherwise. From a market cycle perspective, all we've done is just distribute, right? So you need a distribution to get back into demand. Whether or not this becomes the redistribution, right, that gets us down in here or not, I won't look for the buy until we break. And, I'm still, my alert's been sitting here for a couple of weeks, right? Just sitting there waiting for us to get back into that discounted area where I can start looking for those buys. All right. So that's kind of where I'm going to be at with it. And again, translating over to Euro USD, well, where is that? Same thing. This is where I've been waiting. It seems like for forever, right? Just for us to get up there. And at this point, we are in a distribution, but until I get that major sign of weakness, I'm really not going to do much with it, right? I'm just going to sit back and wait for price to, if I'm actually, I think I might have, yeah, there we go. So if we do get one more push to the upside, all right, because I'll have my 1, 2, 3 drive. If we get one more push to the upside, I would be looking for that distribution on lower type right here. And of course, if we don't get it when we break this becomes my UCAD, right? So, for me, we're talking, Thursday, maybe even to Friday for me to deal with something like that. I do like where we're at. I like the distribution. I just need to now wait for price to give me the indication that we're going to be doing that. All right. Until then, it's, I think today, what I say, GU and EU this morning, I was like, they're just going to sit on my watch list until they confirm, right? I'm not going to force anything. I'll just sit back and wait, and we'll see how it ends up playing out. All right. But 100% we get up into this area right here. Yeah, I'm looking for my shorts, right? Because that's ultimately what's maintaining our order flow leg, right? I mean, we are, there we go. I'll delete that. We are in this order flow, right? This is our order flow leg. This is overall the bigger leg. And then of course, structure is way up here. So as we come into these supply points, that's where I'm going to be looking for my shorting opportunities. And I'm only going to be just patiently waiting on them. If there's anything that this year has really shown, especially on a lot of these dollar crosses, is just wait, just be patient. It's going to come into your area. It may take a while, but when it gets there, and that's when you pull the trigger. right? So, we're in that make it or break it. This could be a larger schematic, potentially, maybe that's what I'm waiting on. Catch that lower distro, break, re-entry, and then we take it to target new lows, and of course, overall, I'm going to be targeting the 1.0340 level. I want to take any sells that I get into wherever they are. I'm taking it to take out this low, right? Dollar index has already taken it out. So, from a comparable strength analysis, it's already, for me, it's a done deal. Like this is going to get taken, especially since we've done it on dollar index. Okay. So EU, pretty simple. It's just going to be a waiting game, right? Now GU on the other hand, a little less clear, right? For me, we've broken order flow. We've taken out that leg, right? We've broken this high. And what I'll be waiting for is really, I want us to either come up higher, all right, and sell out of some supply, or what I'm going to need is to break, right? So that's what this alert is standing for right here. If we end up breaking and taking out this order flow leg, that now puts us in a position where I can wait for a schematic to short this down. All right. But until I get that, it's just going to be a waiting game. There's absolutely nothing for me to do. And you can kind of see my thought process, like all this entire movement. I was actually looking for a potential buy hedge out of there. We never got it. I was looking to see, can we short? Nope. I was looking, can we short? Nope. So until price actually confirms some kind of weakness, I'm not going to be shorting. And until price really gives me some kind of indication that we're going to move to that higher area up here, I'm not going to look for that buy hedge anymore, so it's going to be one of those, GU may just sit on the sidelines, right? I've been really grateful for the sells I've caught on GU. So I'm just going to sit back and wait, we'll see what happens. But, for me to get into a short, it's got to come out of either up here, or we've got to break this right here. I've got to break order flow. And if I break order flow, then that allows me to come into this distribution and wait for a schematic to then short it. Okay. All right. So that's EU and GU. Moving over AU. AU is actually a pretty nice little play. So long story short, right? We are much like EU. We know that this is the redistribution that pushes in the new leg, measuring out this area. We are in the area where I wanted to look for a short. It did provide a distribution this morning. So, we're sitting here. We're sitting here and we've got a distribution. Right. So, do we have distribution? Did we break? Yes. Did we come back to 80%? Yes. Did we distribute here? Yes. And did we break, come back into the 80%? Yes. Right. So now I'm just waiting. At this point, I want to see either us come back down, or I want supply to show me some kind of distribution here that I can potentially get into after London Open tomorrow or tonight, right? I do like where it's at. What do you got here, bro? GU? I don't know what you got here, man. But yeah, so this isn't an accumulation though, right? Accumulations happen at the bottom of a trading range. So if you're in the middle, it has to be a reaccumulation. So that's what this would be. This would be a reaccumulation. You'd have, so you'd have a climax to a rally, to a test, to an MSAL, to an upthrust, to a creek, and you have one drive, two drives down, right? So this would actually be your MSAL. And once you confirm the BOS, you then have a shakeout, right? So, yeah. Hopefully that makes sense, bro. Yeah. So this has to be a reaccumulation. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. On AU. Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty clean play, and there's a distribution in it. Unfortunately, not enough for me to. I don't know if anybody saw this. Hold on. So you've got. Give me a sec. Let me make this 2 minute. Actually, here we'll just go seconds time frame. Yeah, there was a. I did have a limit on this out of this distro right here. So, but I just didn't get filled. Yeah, it was a shame, just a crying shame. So you got your distribution here, right? And unfortunately for me, I was waiting. So if this is going to be my UCAD, I was waiting for this break, and we just never got it. And out of that, then I said, okay, well, once we did break, then I don't mind playing out of here. And obviously, you can see we just never come back. So I do like it, but timing of it, yeah, I'm not doing much with this. I'm at this point now where we either need to short off, right, and make a new low. And then what I'll do is I'll just reset it, measure out what we need to come back to mitigate, 50, 80, wait for the distribution, and just keep shorting this off. But it's going to be, yeah, I mean, at this point, I really don't care what happens with it, other than I want to see the weakness, right? If we can get weakness, great. And if we don't, then it is what it is. Now, can we trade into, this is really what I wanted to see us trade into. Can we trade into London's distribution? And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm also going to be paying attention to. Depending, I'm not going to force it. I'm not really rushing it, but I want to see if we can play into this distribution here. Right. Pretty easy distribution to see. You've got, there we go. Right. You've got, plenty of drives, 1, 2, MSAL, 3, 4, and then UTAD. Right. So what I want to see is us come back into this to mitigate. And if that happens, then, potentially that's something I'll have a limit on. But it's only going to be post London, right? I'm only going to wait for it after London session open. And we'll see, we'll see how, it's all going to be relative to the timing that we get up there. So, but that's something, if you don't have it marked out, I would definitely have that area marked out, have a good understanding of where you would be looking for that play. And I mean, it's not a great deal of pips for a stop loss. I mean, I would probably say that even off that 50, what are we talking here? We're talking 2 pips, I mean, it ain't crazy. So I would probably just, I'm personally probably just going to have it off the 50, but again, it's going to be dependent upon when we get there, right? That's something that I've got on my radar for AU. Now using some comparable strength, but do you prefer to use limit orders to your 50 and 80% or marks? You talking about market execution? No, man, I don't. Probably this year alone, I've probably market executed, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times. So I use limit orders. Yeah. Yeah. Is that the question? If I use limit orders or market execution? Yeah, it's market execution. I mean, unless, yeah, no. I mean, and I'll tell you right now, this year, every time I've market executed, I've always been filled on a stupid, I've always gotten the short end of the stick, right? It's always screwed me over market executing. So yeah. I mean, just keep in mind, like you go to market execute, by the time you've got 5 pips, say AU's got 5 pip at stop loss, right? So now you got 5.5 pips. So now you got 5.5 pips. By the time you figure out your stop loss and you go to market execute, you might have actually, now you've got a worse entry, you know? So I would rather have everything set. I know where it's at. You know, obviously it's a little easier to market execute with the position size calculator, but it still screws me over. Like, you know, I'd have like a 2 pip stop loss and it fills me, and I'd actually have like a 3.5, almost 4 pip stop loss. So yeah, no, I limit order everything. For me, limit order is the easiest, and it's the more accurate one for me to get into. Okay, so on AU, right? Notice what we have going on here, right? And then if we compare it with NU, you can definitely see that the Kiwi is by far way more in a, you know, a weaker state, right? So, and this is something we've been noticing on the Kiwi for, I don't know, probably like half the year now, right? The Kiwi dollar has definitely been the leader, where AU's been the laggard. So, you know, out of the same price action, you know, this is what I was looking for. You know, we have the clean distro. We definitely have the redistribution. So, you know, this is what I was looking for today, and it's still gonna apply because we haven't invalidated anything. You know, there's nothing for me to put a limit order on because we're still bullish in order flow. But you know, I know that we're in a bearish market. I know that we came in to the point of interest that I was looking for to the left. And if I can get a schematic anywhere to mitigate out of that London candle or out of here, that's what I'm going to do. Right. So I like how it's setting up. You just got to be patient with it. We're just going to have to sit back and wait. Right. The limit orders, limit orders are all I'm doing. I'm not market executing. I'm also not putting any limit orders off of any of the candles, right? This is kind of where I was looking, right? We came into this distribution right here that was maintaining this leg. So right where I like it, we're at a premium. Now I just got to wait, right? I just got to wait. If, ideally, if I can get something with like a Frankfurt manipulation, perfect. That's ideally what I want to see. And we're probably already setting up for that. You know, I can imagine that we would probably do something like this, right? And then you get that Frankfurt open. Maybe we get London that goes ahead and breaks the manipulation to the mitigation, and then that's the entry to short it, right? So that's what I'm going to be waiting on. You know, it's just going to be, you know, and again, if we trade above this, that's great. You know, it's either this or we're going to come into this distro right here. That's what I'm going to be waiting on. So I don't like the fact that it's Asian highs, but that's why I'm just going to sit back and wait on the schematic. If I can wait on the schematic and play the schematic, that's what I'm going to do. Alrighty. Can you go over how the importance of Frankfurt? Sure. Yeah, it's really important for me. I mean, I don't know how much more to explain it. Yeah. I mean, we've back tested a crap ton of price action, and Frankfurt open is important to us. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely suggest back testing Frankfurt open and coming up with some set of rules or some set of guidance for bias and how to trade it. But I can tell you that plenty of times will we get that Frankfurt open manipulation, and then the entry is the mitigation of it. Okay. Okay. So that's NU, right? That is NU. How do I know which high or low is supporting a leg? Is that a discretionary thing? No, it can't be. It's very black and white, right? It's either maintaining the structure of the leg or it's not. I mean, that's how simple it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or is it basically the swing high or the low of the time frame that you're analyzing? Yeah, I mean, the leg is going to be the time frame that you're analyzing, right? So if I'm on if I'm looking at my lower time frame, right? My lower time frame leg, what's maintaining my lower time frame leg? Well, my lower time frame leg needs to be this right here, right? Hold on. My lower time frame leg needs to be this. That's my lower time frame leg. right? That's it. I mean, that's the only high that matters. There's no other high that matters, right? Because, you know, when we broke, right, when we broke this low, that now made this my lower time frame structure point. So yeah, I mean, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Yep, you got it. You got it. Yep. And just remember, like continuation moves, right? Reaccumulations and redistros can't hold structure, right? They cannot hold structure on that time frame. So, you know, can a reaccumulation, the shakeout of a reaccumulation hold structure? Sure. If that reaccumulation is on a higher time frame, most likely it's going to be a lower time frame, you know, structure point or an order flow structure point, right? Because order flow can have the legs as well. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like what Jake said, you know, it leads to the BOS. Absolutely, right? In order for it to maintain it, it had to have done something. So you said Frankfurt open manipulation and entry is the mitigation of that. Yep. Yeah. Mitigating the Frankfurt manipulation, right? That's ideally a really good entry point. So if a distro accumulation happened on that Asian session, you'll wait. Yeah. Yep. I wait for a schematic. I'll never have a limit order out of Asian price action, even if it's holding structure. I won't have it. I'll have to wait. I'll have to wait for a schematic, just because for me the probability of Asian holding is very slim. Okay. So anyway, that's pretty much NU. I mean, bigger picture, you can see that if we do trade above here, what's my next area that I'm going to be watching, right? Well, we know that we broke here, right? So obviously this is the distribution that I would love to get to. I just don't think we're going to get there. I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough weakness in the US dollar or strength in the Kiwi or Australian dollar to get it up there. So, you know, but, you know, if it does, great. If not, I'll be looking for shorts out of there or out of the slingshot area. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go UCAD, right? So where am I looking for some kind of price action on UCAD? Well, higher time frame. I mean, where are we? You know, we know, yeah, don't worry about the dots. I think this is me helping somebody with some structure. Actually here, we'll go like this just to make it easier. There we go. Okay. So what's maintaining our leg? I mean, there's our leg right there. So where do I want to wait for price? Well, you could see my alert down here. That's where I'm waiting for UCAD. I will have a little limit out of this accumulation there, right? Just because, you know, on a higher time frame, we can say that the reaccumulation was an attempt at mitigating the accumulation, right? So this is something I'd put a little bit of risk on. And if I take the loss, then I'll just be waiting down in here, right? So yeah, and I would definitely say give that a look, right? Go down into that lower time frame. I'm sure you can, even if you don't have the seconds, you can see it on the 1 minute. There's plenty of there's a pretty decent schematic, right? So for me, that's my spring, you know. And then you've even got a lower time frame if you go on the seconds that you can see in here that's been mitigated up into that point. So, but I'll be happy with, I think it's like a 7 pip. I'll be happy with the 7 pip stop. So, you know, obviously if we do come into the reaccumulation here and we start to build an accumulation in here, you know, obviously that's going to get my attention for the buy, right? But I'll definitely be looking in this because this is ultimately the attempted mitigation of the larger scale accumulation. So, you know, definitely have that marked out. I would definitely have it ready to go in case you want to pull the trigger on it, right? But yeah, I'll be, you know, I'll be waiting for it down there. Now, last week we were looking, right? We were looking in here just based off of what we were at in here in this order flow leg, but I just never got the confirmation, right? I never really got the, you know, the confirmations to go ahead and take long-term buys. I did take probably, I don't know, like 2 or 3 positions on UCAD out of here. I think every one of them were reduced risk. It at least gave you an opportunity to reduce your risk on it. And then of course, when we came in at the end of the day there, I mean, it just never gave anything, right? It started to accumulate. But this is why I don't take entries late in the day. You know, they just really do fall apart. You know, if you back test and you journal and pull the data, you really seldom do get a entry at the end of New York session that ends up being the one that goes for, you know, 1 billion miles to the upside or downside. So for me, the opportunity to take a buy at the end of New York just wasn't there. And if this ended up going higher, then what am I going to do? Just play the continuation move, right? Wait for the reaccumulation to occur, play the mitigation of the reaccumulation. So UCAD, I mean, I'll tell you, it was a little disappointing because I really thought that we were going to go through it, but just follow your market cycle. Like, what do we have? Right? Well, we got our accumulation, reaccumulation that causes the break of the distro. All right, boom, we know we're in this leg. And then we know that price needs to what? Distribute. And we just got a redistribution. So what are we waiting for now? Just confirmation of accumulation, right? So for me, where am I looking? Right here. This is my next stop. So we are about 100 and we'll say like 70 pips, 170 pips from there. And wouldn't you know it, tomorrow we have Canadian news, right? And Friday we got US dollar news. So can UCAD cover 170 pips in that length of time? Absolutely. So that's really what I'll be waiting for. All righty. So UCAD, you know, again, bigger picture. Yeah, all day long. I'm waiting here. You know, we've got really good bullish intent here. We've got an understanding of what's going on. And again, this is my leg. So I want to see if we can play into that. The UCHEF. So I did take a small little loss on UCHEF today. I was a little aggressive on it. You know, the key for me was, let's get into it. And I really, again, I wanted to try to hedge some sells out of here. We just never got it. So seeing UCHEF in this area here, what I wanted this morning. So I talked about it this morning. I wanted us to break here for really some bigger buy positions to come in, but we're not there yet. So what I was looking at was, okay, so we have accumulation, right? We have that Frankfurt manipulation that ends up taking the buy up. We get an accumulation in prior area of demand that causes a new high. We do get that Asian manipulation, right? And then we break. So this is what I was looking to play out of this morning. We did get an accumulation here that I wanted to play out of. Ended up just seeing I didn't even reduce my risk. There was no point, just because I risked so little that I was fully prepared to take the loss on it. But in reality, all we did was just trade right back into demand, right? I mean, we can see that New York came right back into the accumulation. And now for me to get involved in this, I mean, yes, we do need to break this high, but I want to see us now break the that previous high. I really want to see this accumulation confirm itself so that I can go higher with it. For UCAD, do you have your fib on the London manipulation and the reaccumulation? The London manipulation on UCAD? Yeah, it's all of London's price action. Yeah. So it's where London opened and where we can see the sell down and then the buy. So yep. Yeah, that's where I had my fib, that whole move. Yeah. So on UCHEF, I still haven't journaled this, so I'll wait till delete this when I'm done journaling it. But yeah, I'm just going to sit back and wait. Like I said, what I want to see is we need to go, and at the very minimum, we need to break this, but I don't have anything that I want to take out of here yet. So what I'm going to be waiting for is, because we're in this order flow leg right here, right? I'm going to wait to see if we can do that. And if we do that, right, then I'll just measure out that move 1580 and I'll wait for my schematic. So if this ends up being, which I think it's going to, right? If this ends up being the reaccumulation that causes this break, this is ultimately what's maintaining. This is going to be my point of interest number one. And then we already know that we've mitigated all the way down into here. So I would probably look to see if I can get something out of that low, right? But I'd be more interested in playing out of the reaccumulation, the cause of the break. I just got to wait for that break, right? Just have to wait for the mitigation of it. So that's UCHEF, right? Pretty much, it's pretty simple. I'm still very much bullish dollar, and we got the pullbacks that I liked. Now I'm just waiting for price to come back into these areas and show me evidence of, in the case of all these US dollar crosses, demand coming into the market, right? How do I know that? I'm just wait for the schematic. The schematic is showing you the demand is coming in. Okay. And UJ, right? And round out the dollar crosses, UJ. So UJ, I spoke about last week on the week before on the Zoom call, that I wanted us to break this, right? Because low, order flow low, we broke this high, right? So I know now that order flow is bullish, right? Structure's been bullish, order flow is bullish now. And what I was looking at this morning, what's the most relative price action that we got? And for me, this was pretty simple. We got the, Asian reaccumulation, right? So we swept Asian liquidity to the downside first, right? To the downside, we never really broke through Frankfurt, but what did London do? London came in and swept the bottom, accumulated, reaccumulated, and then ultimately we broke. So when I woke up probably around here, and we had just broken, this is an area that I wanted us to come into, right? I wanted us to come into that. I found a little bit of confluence between 80% of London shakeout and the 50% of the reaccumulation. So it was something I was going to put a little bit of risk on, but we obviously never came back for, right? You could see we never came back for it. And now we're just kind of lingering over here. So if we continue to go sideways and we do come back into this area, I'm no longer going to put a limit on it, but I will, anything below this 50% of our reaccumulation, anything below there shows me a schematic, I'll take it, right? That's ultimately how I'm going to play this. And this is going to be the first line of my order flow, right? This is the very lowest form of order flow that I have. So I'm willing to give it a little bit of a go, especially because structure is supporting it, right? Structure is bullish. So I'm happy to play out of order flow. All right. So that's UJ. I mean, pretty much all the yen crosses that I was looking at today, I was looking again at CAD, bigger picture, right? On the bigger picture side, what do? Well, from CAD's perspective, right? We know that we had a reaccumulation. So this is our leg. And what do? Well, we came damn near close. Actually, that's my alert to wait for a schematic down here. We came right to my alert. And what do? We started to show signs of demand coming into the market. There's an accumulation here, right? That accumulation now hasn't broken the order flow leg, but it's shown me what? An accumulation. It's shown a reaccumulation. So we're seeing that demand come into the market. And again, lowest form of order flow for me in a bullish market that I'm willing to take is going to come out of here. So pretty much same concept, right? We had New York price action from the day before that gave a reaccumulation. So we're in this leg. And then what do? We come back and we accumulate during London price action, right? And this was actually, if you guys really want a cool back test, we were doing it this morning, and I laughed out loud when this happened, but you come down in here and you just look at was it like a 5 second or a 1 second? I think it might've been a 1 second. Yeah. I mean, you don't even need to go to the 1 second. You could see it on the 5 second. So what do you have? You have your accumulation. Just measure out your spring. There's your 80%, right? And where did price end up coming to? Well, believe it or not, right to that damn 80%, right? So where is she? Oh, there she is right there. Yeah, she came right into that 80%. So for me, what I was looking at is to play out of this type 1 schematic, right? There's my spring. So here's 80%. Here is 50%, right, of what I wanted to play out of. The only thing that sucked is we just never came back, right? So price never comes back after breaking the high. So what I'm going to be playing at this point on on CAD is just waiting it out. Do we go sideways? Does news tomorrow morning get us down here? Right. And I'll tell you, if we are on a down trending range or a complex pullback tomorrow during like New York session coming into the news, because this is a buy and I'll be protected from broker manipulation, I will have a limit order set out of here for that news event. Right. And if I get filled, I get filled. If I don't get filled because of the spread, if the broker manipulates the spread and gets the spread way too big, then it is what it is. Right. But that's something I'd be looking at playing out of this accumulation that causes the new leg. Now, if we do, like, let's just say that we come in and then we make a new high, then obviously I'm done. Right. This is done because now our order flows out of here. Right. So that's something I'll definitely be keeping, on my radar for tomorrow, especially, for me, 10 o'clock Eastern is the Canadian dollar news. So I'll be paying attention to what we do there. All right. But yeah, CAD, again, much like last week, really good schematics, just no entries. Price, you could see price just never comes back, never gives that entry to come in. And then the other one I was looking at was Chef JPY. And again, typical, right? Just same old. We got the distribution, right? We break right here. That's my confirmation of reaccumulation. And then what am I looking for? Well, there's my accumulation. So I don't need a second's time frame to see that is a type 1 accumulation, right? Even on the 1 minute, you should be able to see, there you go. You should be able to see the type 1 on the 1 minute. Yeah, there she is. Right. You should be able to, there you go. There's your spring, right? That's where the sell happened. That's where the buy happened. That's all you really need to see. So this is something that I had a limit on this morning. And, at this point where we're at, it's really not valid for me anymore. Depending on how we come in, I may still put a small risk on that limit order. But I need us now to just come on back down, right? We had a nice little expansionary move today. And if we can walk it back down, which I don't see it coming back down anytime before London. We're talking 130 pips. So I'd like for it. This is the first area that I want to start, to take a buy out of. And I really like the reaccumulation part of it. So, keep in mind that the Frankfurt Open is the shakeout of the reaccumulation. So this entire range, and that's why you could see my 0 and my 100 here, because if we do come into that 50 and we accumulate here, this is something that I'll put some risk on. All right. Does that make sense? So those are the yen crosses that I'm looking at for this week. Talked about the dollar crosses. And so ACAD and NCAD, same thing. Like what am I expecting, right? I'm bearish, right? What do? We are, I don't know why TradingView keeps deleting my crap, man. Anyway, this is a redistro, right? And we know that this redistro, this is the shakeout that causes this push. So, what am I waiting for? I'm just waiting for a distribution. Well, voila, we got a distribution. So we got 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. I'm really just hoping for a UCAD. If I can get the UCAD up here, I'll be looking for lower time frame distribution to take it an aggressive entry. But then of course, if we break and come back, this is going to be my optimal entry to short this down. Right. So, have I missed anything on ACAD in the last week? No. Look at this thing from the 23rd. So in the last 8 days, it has literally done nothing. Right. So I'm just going to sit back and wait on it. We are in an area. So if you look at it, right, we break here. This redistribution is a slingshot. This is obviously the manipulation that causes that. And, I haven't even looked at it, but hold on. Maybe I did. Hold on. Did we come into? No. All right. So, are we in an area where I'd be looking for a short? Sure. Here's your 50%, right there. Right. So we came into 50% of it. Ideally, what I'd love to see is price pop on up right there for the UCAD and then give me a lower time frame distro so I can short this. So We reacted out of the daily extreme. You mean on ACAD from like months ago? Yes, we did. Is that what you're talking about? I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Yep. No, I'm bearish. Yeah. I've been selling the crap out of ACAD and NCAD for a while. Yeah. Yeah. This distro right here played out of a higher time frame. So absolutely. Yep. Same thing with NCAD. So I'm still holding NCAD shorts from like September. So I don't even know where I got in on them. Well, I know where I got them in, but the distro is where I got in. Yeah, way up. Yeah, I'm holding shorts from in here. Yeah, so NCAD, the same exact thing. And if you notice on ACAD, right, comparable strength, you can see where we're at with waiting on this break right here, right, for ACAD. What's NCAD done for us? NCAD's already shown us the weakness, right? NCAD's already broken. It broke this morning. So on NCAD's already showing us that predetermination to go lower. So what I'm going to be waiting for, and it just sucks. This price action in here is garbage for me, right? Nothing I really want to play out of. So if we can get price to come back up, that's something I'll be looking at. I know quite a few of you that caught this on Friday. Kudos, definitely kudos. It happened like 30 minutes after I stopped trading, but you've got your really clean distro that happens in there. And then you've got a micro right there in the UCAD that gave you a perfect entry. So definitely depending on where you took your entry out of, it was a 1 to 100 that you caught on it. So, that's definitely an area of supply, right? How do we know? Well, I mean, the typical Frankfurt manipulation, right? Asian distribution, Frankfurt manipulates, and what do? We come right back in to mitigate it off the 50. So yeah, I mean, this is an area I definitely would be paying attention to. I just don't know if we're gonna get that high up on it. I'll tell you right now, if we do get up there, that means that ACAD creates the UCAD, and I would rather trade ACAD. I'm always going to be more partial to trade the laggard than the leader. The laggard's always going to give me the better entry. So that's how I'll kind of go with it. But I mean, this thing is quite a few pips away. This thing is 100 pips. So, but again, we got Canadian news tomorrow morning, right? In what is it? 14 hours, we got Canadian news. So that's definitely something that may give or present an opportunity. But I'm only looking shorts on NCAD. NCAD and ACAD, I'm only looking shorts. All right. The other thing I'm looking at, AJ. What am I looking on AJ? Hold on. I'd have to look at, we're looking buys. Yeah, we're looking buys on AJ. So for sure, we've broken order flow, right? We've broken order flow. And obviously if we come lower, great. But if I'm in a bullish market, what's the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking at an order flow. And this is what we were looking at this morning. So what do we have, right? We have Asian liquidity. We have the distribution right here confirms the BOS, and that's our shakeout. So what am I looking to play? I'm looking to play from Frankfurt price action on down to the accumulation. And, definitely something I'm going to be watching is this bad boy right in here, because we do have a very, very clean schematic, right? We've got a clean type 1 where I know that this is where they sold, where they bought. That's my spring, right? X marks the spot. So that's something I'll be watching as well. If we can get down there. Right. If we can get back in there, we may not come all the way back down. Right. We potentially could just come. And that's why I've got my alert right here at the 50, because we could just come right in here and do something. So if we do that, that's where I pull my trigger. If not, I definitely got that on my mind. Okay. Can you tell me the current R to R from NCAD? What do you mean the R to R from NCAD? Yeah. What do you mean the current R to R from NCAD? We're 100 pips from the area. where I'll be looking for my next buy on it, or my next sell on NCAD. And then NJ, same exact thing, right? Now, NJ hasn't confirmed. You can see I'm waiting here. NJ hasn't confirmed the buy, right? Because we haven't broken this high. But once we break that high, obviously anything coming back down into that London crossover is what I'm going to be looking for that buy. So again, the Kiwi has been ultimately lagging behind on buys and been leading on the sells. So, you know, we can ultimately see what's going on. And this is something I really wanted to make sure this morning. I want to see if we can break that high. All right. Yeah. So AJ and NJ, pretty easy. The trade you took, wait, all the way back in whatever the heck. Geez, I don't know. Hold on. Where are we at? We're at 82.37. I don't even know, man. Hold on. 82.37. Yeah, that's it right there. It's a sore subject for a lot of people. I know a lot of people got taken out of that. What's it at? 80. What are we at? Currently, we're at 82.37. So it's at a 1 to 250. Yeah, it's at a 1 to 250. How do I know which pairs are the laggers and the leaders? Does it change? Yeah, it changes. Yep. And you can, and NCAD could be the leader on a lower time frame, but the laggard on a higher time frame. So yeah. Yeah. How do you know which one's the leader and the laggard? You just got to look at the chart. So the one on, you know, at the top of the range, the one that has shown the weakness, right? And the one that's ultimately failed, right? So this is the leader. This is the laggard, right? Because why? Because it made the high where this one made the low first. So this move right here, where we make this high shows me that that's the laggard, and vice versa on a buy scenario. So it's all relative to what's happening. The one, you know, like the Kiwi is showing, the Kiwi is doing this where ACAD is doing that. Yeah, this is the leader, you know, because we're in a bearish market. This is the laggard because it's made the high. It's lagging behind, right? Yeah. All right. There we go. CADCHEF's the other one I'm looking at. So CADCHEF's actually in a really interesting area. So, I mean, the damn thing is playing out pretty damn nicely though. I was looking this morning, I was looking for a distro out of this, right? And the reason I'm looking for a distro is because I want us to sell out of this redistribution, because I want us to come down lower, right? Essentially, I want the distribution here to short down into here before going higher, right? That's ideally what I'd like to see. And I mean, we could see today, I mean, it did give a distro. Now, obviously long term, I'm bullish on this. Man, it did give a distro. It just never broke. So that's why I guess my alert never went off, because I had this alert down here for crossing BOS once we got this in New York, but no break, no trade. You know, obviously if we would have broken this, I would have been looking to play out of here. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I definitely, what do we got here? We got a climax test, an up thrust, a UCAD, and we just never broke. So, I mean, this will probably end up being a reaccumulation. And if that's the case, then I'm just going to sit on my hands until we break. So for me to get involved in buys, we need to take out supply. So we would need to trade above here. So this is kind of like a no man's land at this point. And obviously if we do this, then by far, that's something I'd be looking to come back into, right? I don't know what EJ is doing either. I haven't looked at EJ in a minute, but Yeah. You said that you would rather trade. Yeah, I always like to trade the laggard. So the leader's already giving me the cheat code. It's telling me what we're doing, and I'll just trade the laggard. Laggard's going to give me the better entry. So that, yeah, CAD Chef looks like it's probably just going to turn into a reaccumulation, but I'd need us to break and then a little more action to happen. On EG, there's absolutely nothing I'm doing. Actually, this is getting downgraded to my secondary list. So EG, whole lot of nothing. Yeah, we're just doing nothing. Yeah, there's 1,000% nothing going on here. So this is going on my secondary list because there's nothing to do with it. We either need to go quite a few pips up or quite a few pips down, but we are smack dab in the middle of this leg right here. And we either got to go up or we got to go down first for me to figure out what I want to do with it. So yeah, BTC. Yeah, what's up, bro? Is crypto done? It is if you're holding it, man. What do you mean is crypto done? BTC is bearish. Yeah. So is the S&P 500, but you're still going to put your 401k money in the S&P 500, right? So yeah, BTC I think is coming down. I potentially at this point I'm personally only going to be waiting for BTC under 10,000. So I'll wait. If it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'll wait for BTC to come down there. Yeah. Let's see. I'm withdrawing all my 401k money to pay for gas. Yeah, actually, you should probably withdraw your 401k money and put it into some of the commodity driven funds. You can get yourself a decent, yeah, everything follows BTC. No, I don't know about that. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I told you what I'm buying on the crypto side. I've got 4 things I'm buying, right? So two of them I'm huge on, Flux and Cadena. So I think BTC can still come down, but Flux and Cadena, especially if Ethereum, if Ethereum, right? Big if Ethereum, because I know I was listening to a dev call, and actually I think I saw Tim Biko tweet today that they're going on the Ropstein testnet to migrate that over to proof of stake. But if there's an issue with Ethereum POS, I guarantee you right now that thing's going to crumble. So yeah, indices have a lot of buy potential in my opinion for the next months. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. You guys remember this? I mean, like, right? What did I post? I posted back on October 25th, right? I posted shorts are coming in, right? And where did I say I'm buying? I'm buying right here. This is the big buy for me, or if we get into that COVID buy, right? That's what I'm waiting for. And I mean, where are we? We're almost there, right? We're working our way down, right? You could see we broke, we came back to 80%, we broke, come back to 80%, just keep walking that sucker down. So absolutely. I mean, I'm not bearish on indices whatsoever as far as long term, like 10, 20 years, right? Like if I still had mutual funds in like the S&P 500, I mean, I honestly would have moved my stuff into more stable bonds or some equity firms like that. But I mean, I'm still dollar cost averaging into the S&P 500 all the way down. But yeah, 27K is where the US is where Dow Jones is going. And I think, what is it? Like maybe like 2,600 on S&P. So yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much everything I'm looking at currency wise, right? If you guys haven't paid attention to what commodities are doing, silver is, if you look back at last year's, actually probably 2 years ago now, some of the Zoom calls, like what have I been waiting for? I have been waiting for this stupid thing right here. I've been waiting for silver to come on down right in here. So, and we're slowly making our way in there, right? Slowly but surely we're making our way. We have broken right? If you look at it, we have broken. And, if we can get back up in here and get one more push down, great. If not, this is where I'm going to physically be buying. So how do you determine legs in different time frames, like order flow leg, intraday leg, and all? So you got to work down. So, what order flow leg? Because intraday structure is typically going to be lower time frame order flow, right? Higher time frame order flow is going to be intraday structure. Lower time frame order flow is just lower time frame order flow, right? You're going to have order flow of order flow of order flow. So that's why I hate order flow, because there's so many levels of it. How do you determine the different levels? You just got to find the leg, right? You got to work backwards. So you got to, in order for it to be a leg, it would have had to have made a new high or a new low from the previous leg, not just because it made a new high. No, it would have had to have broken a leg, right? So, here you go. Like this is that low. So when we do this, that's not a leg. This is the leg, right? That's the leg, because that's what pushed in the new low. All right. So anyway, yeah, silver, I'm definitely bearish on. Gold, who the heck knows what gold's doing, man? Gold has been sideways for a week, right? Where's she at? There you go. Gold's just been sideways for a week. There's really not much to do. I was hoping that we'd get gold maybe back up into this for a short. But I'll be honest, I haven't traded gold in a while, so it's just not doing much. The markets moves usually slower in the yep. Yeah, there's not a lot of equity that gets dumped in. A lot of the traders are vacationing, right? So yeah, there's not a lot of movement typically during the summer months. It'll pick up September every year, the last 4 years. End of September has been one of my best months, and so has been October, right? Because the fiscal year for banks end October 1. That's the new. So September 30th is the end date. The last 2 weeks of September, I typically don't trade, just because traders aren't trading. So they've got to get all their SEC forms in. They've got to get all their trading reports in. So yeah, hold on. Yeah. So end of September, I don't trade, but October 1, the last 4 years, October has been my biggest month, just because they come out of the gate with the new portfolio and they're ready to drop some liquidity. So yeah. Anyway, so commodities, that's kind of what I'm looking at. And then jumping over to indices, right? I'll tell you what, if you haven't had the chance, and if you didn't catch them, I would definitely suggest back testing US 30 last week. I personally caught two really fantastic buy positions that really gave some really, really nice, clean price action. And I was looking today, but there was just absolutely no confirmations. So, but yeah, there was a lot of work done. Really, really clean price action. Really, really clean price action. There was some really good entry in there. Wouldn't you know it, off the 80% of what swept Asian liquidity. And out of that news coming in here, these really gave some really good entries, and you could see nothing after that. So, I'm honestly just sitting back, waiting. I'm pretty convinced that the big next sell that we're going to get is going to be out of this redistro, specifically out of here. That's where my alert is sitting here, or out of this distro right here with my alert. Somewhere in this box or somewhere in here is where I'm going to be looking to short it long-term to make out this low. All right. So, I don't mind buying them up into that area, especially because I'm holding a ton of shorts on this. So hedging it is 100% okay for me. There was just nothing for me to confirm. Like this morning, I wanted a distribution to try to sell it down. It just never gave me the distro. We came into it. We came into the area nicely, but just never gave me the distro for me to confirm. There was just a whole lot of nothing. This was a distro that I was looking at potentially taking something out of. But when we look at the leg itself, this right here is your break, right? So this is what I was kind of looking at coming into. And, when we ultimately ended up accumulating and then reaccumulating. It's not something that I want to take something out of here. So yeah, it was just one of those where I just sat back and just watched what the heck they did, and they did absolutely nothing. This was just a whole lot of nothing for today. But I would go back, take a look at those two buy areas. They came on Tuesday and Wednesday of last week, I believe. It was, yeah, the 24th and the 25th. So really good clean entries. Where I partialed out, I'm still holding them, but where I partialed out was at a 1 to 65 and a 1 to 36. SPX missed me, really didn't give me the entry that I wanted. But same thing with SPX. Like what's my big move on SPX? My big move is just waiting for the short. So I'm waiting. We are in an area where I want to start looking for shorts, but ultimately we get into this price action. That's where I want to see it. So can we get up into here? That's what I want to see. That's where I get into this to go lower. And same thing for NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ's really, and you could see like I was looking for a buy out of here. We just never got a pullback. Looking to see if we can get any kind of pullback to buy it up, and we're just not. So, it is what it is. No big deal. We did come in, you could see the distro here. We did come into my area that I wanted to see, or obviously this is the next area I wanted to see. So yeah, man, have a good one. On the NASDAQ side though, like it just never, there was nothing for me to play out of, right? We can see that we have a distribution, right? And then we have a redistro, and then we just have a redistro. But in order for me to play that continuation move, right, I need evidence of a schematic. And it looks like it gave one today. I guess I just wasn't really, it does look like it gave one here. Yeah, it does look like it gave one in here. So, even if I did take I kind of stopped trading probably somewhere in here, but on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, I'm really not forcing anything. On a Thursday, I would have taken that trade 100 times. I was kind of more interested in seeing if we can come up a little higher. I guess maybe that's why my alert never went off on it, but yeah, same thing. Like, what do we do here? Yeah, we distributed, but we didn't do anything with it. So yeah, I'll just be patiently waiting on this. In my opinion, I think this is just going to continue to go higher. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced it's going to go higher, and then I'll just wait for it. I'll wait for it in the area that I really wanted to wait for it anyway. So yeah, indice wise, long term, I'm still bearish, right? Long term, I want us to get into the leg. This is the distribution up here that's maintaining the leg, and then this is the SC that caused the break, right? So this is going to be really the area that I want us to get into. So I've got my alert. You can see it just below 33,800. That's where I'm going to be seeing if that's where we can get the distribution to short this. And then from that, I'm holding my shorts. I'm holding my shorts at least down to this low, which is going to be 3,100 points. But 2,700. That's my goal, right? 2,700 is where I want to take it to. So in here. I'm sorry, 27,000. That's where I want to take it to, right in here. This is where I think we may get some price action that gets us buyers really into the market. And that's really it. That's everything I got on my watch list for this week. It's really focused on dollar crosses and Canadian crosses, and we'll see what ends up turning out. Actually, I got to move these over here. There we go. Yeah, it's just a matter of just being patient with it and just sitting back, waiting for price action. Last week really didn't give me much. I got the 2 US 30 buys, and that was it. Nothing really confirmed. So when you have a week where price action is just really sloppy or sideways and not giving you any true direction, not giving you any confirmations, just don't force it. Come back and wait for it. You only need 1 or 2 good trades a week. Sometimes you only need 1 or 2 good trades a month. So yeah, absolutely. Anybody else got anything else they're looking at? Any other questions you guys have? Crypto side, listen, there ain't much I'm doing with crypto. So, what gives me the conviction that it will get to 27K? Well, I mean, just look at the chart. When you look at this chart, where is, we know that this is where they sold, right? And then we know that this is where they bought. So this for me is a big thing. And this was the reaccumulation that caused that break. So we know that this is where they sold and this is where they bought. So why wouldn't they get there? You know, I mean, think about how long did they spend doing this distribution? You know, you're talking, what is that? June to, you know, we'll say what, like March. So they spent 9 months distributing orders. You know, you just don't do that to do that, right? You do that for a purpose. So yeah, absolutely. It's for them to mitigate. They have to mitigate, you know, not only mitigation, but better pricing. Why would you buy here when you can buy here? Right. I mean, institutions buy low, right? They don't buy high, they buy low. So absolutely. Why wouldn't they come down there? You know, for me, this is still something that needs to be mitigated, you know? Absolutely. That's honestly why, I mean, I've got my, you know, right here, this is still a very, very much potential, you know, 100%. Where are you looking to get back into the crypto market? It depends. I mean, it depends on the project, you know. BTC between, was it like between 7 and like 9,000 is where I'll get back into BTC. Yeah. I'm not getting into Ethereum. You know, I mean, I mine Ethereum, but I swap it. I'm not holding Ethereum anymore. You know, some other projects, I mean, I'm getting in now. Some other projects, I'm definitely waiting. So we'll see. Am I waiting for US 30 to come higher? Yeah. Like I'm personally waiting here. I'm waiting out of here. That's the first area I'm looking to sell from. So, you know, we get, my alert is sitting right up here. That's my first alert that I want us to get into. Yeah. Yeah. If we can get up there, great. I'll be pretty happy with it. And I think we will. I think by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, I would say that we'll probably be close to breaking this, you know, and at that point we have a reaccumulation. And I mean, what are we talking here? Damn. I mean, is that 30-minute candle? Let's see. 30-minute candle might be it. Nope. Let's go 29. Oh, come on. It ain't going to give it to me, is it? Well, either way, I mean, I know that this is where they sold, and I know that's the buy. So they break and come back in to here. That may be the buying opportunity if I don't get the sell. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's everything I'm looking at. I know EJ was going off. I have no idea what my alert on EJ was though. What was my alert on EJ? I guess maybe, let's see. I have no idea. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Yeah. For me to get involved in EJ, we got to break that high first. We break that high, then obviously that's my shakeout, right? Distro, 1 drive, 2 drives, right? We have a creek. So yeah, EJ belongs on the secondary list. EJ's days, if not weeks away from anything for me to do with it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much everything I got. ECAD, I don't trade ECAD, man. I haven't looked at an ECAD chart in probably, I don't know, a year and a half. I don't know. What's ECAD doing on the hard time frame? Has it changed? I don't think it's changed. I think it's right there with like GCAD. I think it's stuck. What's it done? Let's see. What's it done? Yeah. I mean, are you looking for sells? Because you're waiting for a while on ECAD. Yeah, I mean, I thought I had this marked out on something. When was the last time I marked this out? Is it on here? Okay, there you go. That was the last time I traded out of that distribution. That was my last trade on ECAD. What was that, like June 2021, something like that? Yeah, no, I'd be looking for I mean, I don't know, just looking at this, I'd be looking at shorts. You were looking to buy it? What makes you want to buy it? You're in a bearish market. Yeah, you're in a bearish market. You so I mean, just look at it. You're just higher time frame analysis. You broke here. This distro controls it. And what did price do? Price, you're waiting for this break, right? We're waiting for that break. Did we come into right there? Did we come? Oh yeah, I mean, we came into 50% of it. And then you distributed, right? So you know that we know that we did, from an order flow perspective, we came here to here, to here to here, to here, and then we broke here. So we're being maintained from here like that. This is the redistribution that caused that. So that's probably, this is probably where I'd be looking for the short, is out of here. Oh yeah, I'd be looking for the short out of this redistro. And that's where I'd be looking for the short. Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, yeah. I personally am not buying it. Like, I'm not doing anything with it, but I'd be looking for shorts on it. Yeah, I'd be looking for shorts on it, especially if UCAD, if UCAD is bullish, and in this year alone, we know that US dollar has been really driving everything, right? So you take the CAD out of the equation, right? If we know that the US dollar is bullish, we know that the euro all automatically is bearish, right? Because they're diametrically opposed to each other. So, you know, if UCAD's bullish, that means ECAD has to be bearish. And yeah, I mean, it's supporting that. So higher time frame reaccumulation redistros intraday leg. No, I no. A reaccumulation or redistro can't hold structure, man. So yeah. Yeah, and higher time frame, just say a higher time frame schematic is the intraday leg. Not necessarily, right? It would be it's whatever. It's if that distribution, if you have a distribution, if that distribution is the cause or is what's maintaining that entire leg that causes the new low until you get a new market cycle, that's your leg. So yeah. 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 So, oh well. All right, guys. Well, listen. I mean, that's pretty much everything I had for tonight. All right. There ain't much that that I'm looking at. Yeah, like BTC. Where's Gary at? Gary's still on there, man. What am I looking for BTC? Right here. This is where am I looking? I am looking. I am looking. Where's the daily? Oh, no, I don't want to move that. There we go. That's where I'm looking right there. I'm looking between, I'm looking between here, between like 5,700 and like 9,000. This is where I take my next buy. So that's where I take my next buy. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. Ethereum still hasn't broken structure. So Ethereum technically is still bullish. Yeah. ETH is still there. Where is ETH? Yeah. ETH is still bullish. So we haven't invalidated the accumulation that caused the new high. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. No, we don't do it every morning. We just do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't do a Zoom on Monday mornings. I don't even start looking at charts until I'm like at least 2 or 3 coffees in. So yeah, I do most Monday mornings are normally just my marking up days and kind of game planning what I want to do for the week. So are you open for mentorship or not yet? No, I mean, just reach out to me like on Discord or Instagram. I'm starting. Yeah, I mean, we're getting at the tail end of volleyball season. So yeah, just hit me up. I'll kind of give you some info on it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I'm looking at. Crypto side, I mean, definitely I got some projects, right? Flux is one of them. Flux is definitely one of them. And oh, look at that. Aren't we in the area I was looking for my next buy? So yeah, I'm definitely expecting Flux within the next 5 years to be in the top 10 in market cap. So, I mean, not financial advice, but I would definitely be looking at Flux and Cadena. I actually just bought a Cadena miner, so I'll be mining the crap out of some Cadena. But if you take a look at Flux, where it's currently at, and you put it in the top 10 in market cap, right now it's currently at like 69 cents. Let's just say it gets in there. Let's say it takes over the piece of junk Solana that can't even keep their blockchain up because their infrastructure is just garbage, right? You're talking at Flux at $65 a coin. So I mean, yeah, that's a nice little bag. I'll tell you right now that happens, and yeah, I'll be a millionaire over a couple times over just based off of that. And if it gets up there like I expect it to, I mean, you're potentially, let's just say it takes over Cardano, number 6, $89. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Flux. I like what they're doing. I like their dev crew. I like their co-founder. I like their project, everything. So yeah, Flux, Cadena is the other one. I'm very, 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 very nicely bullish on Cadena, especially with the projects that they're doing. So if you haven't read about what Cadena is and what they're implementing and how they're doing it, I'd definitely give it a look, read their white paper, kind of look at their project on what they're doing and see, it's definitely, in my opinion, it's a really good project. So, but yeah, so other than that, awesome guys, listen, enjoy your evening, trade safe. Keep in mind of what news events are coming out this week. And just remember risk management. There's a lot that can be said about sustainability and, living to fight another day. You want to make sure that your proper risk is there. The last thing, I've always said, it's not how much money I make, it's how much money I don't lose. So that's the important part. But thanks for hopping on. I'll catch everybody later. Have a great one.